I hope that everyone will learn at least one new thing out of this session. And if not, well, it's me to blame on this one. For who doesn't know me, my name is Cristian Angyal. Angyal, it's easier, but my name in Hungarian means angel. So Chris Angel. It's easy to remember like this. I've always worked with data, but more from the business perspective. My journey has been less about coding and more about solving problems along the 20 plus years of working. My background is in electrical engineering, and I switched my career in 2015 after discovering Power Query and Power Pivot back in 2014 and 15. I'm holding several Microsoft certifications, and I love getting insights from data and then using these insights to solve real business problems. I'm the founder of Romania Power BI Modern Excel User Group since 2021. We are actually celebrating 5 years in February. And since 2022, I was recognized as Microsoft MVP. I'm a proud dad of a 9-year-old princess and a husband to a very patient wife who is putting up with me since more than 25 years. I love to travel and visit new things and learn new things every day. So here's our journey today. We'll just set the context, look at a bit of Fabric overview. We'll get a bit of Power Query refresher where we can find it around the entire Microsoft area. Then we'll see that we have options to work with Power Query with no code, low code, and pro code. Then we'll move to my favorite part, the demo part, and hopefully demo gods will be with me. And if not, don't worry, I have a backup file, a Power BI file. If internet is breaking or data flows are playing strange. Then we'll have the summary and the business impact and the Q&A. And speaking of the Power BI desktop file, it will be available. I will provide it to Sue or Anthony after the session so they can upload it with the video. So just a small overview on Microsoft Fabric and where this data flow fits. Fabric is Microsoft's end-to-end analytics platform. It unifies storage with OneLake and provides experiences for every data role: engineers, scientists, analysts, and business users. Today, we'll zoom on Dataflows Gen2, which lives in the data factory experience. It's the self-service data prep layer powered by Power Query. Why Dataflow? Why Data Factory in Microsoft Fabric? Well, Data Factory combines the ease of use of Power Query with the scale and power of Azure Data Factory. It brings the best of both products together into a single experience. The goal is for both citizen and professional data developer to have the right data integration tools, and Data Factory provides low-code, AI-enabled data preparation and transformation experience, and hundreds of connectors with hybrid and multi-cloud connectivity. The key features of Data Factory inside Fabric are data ingestion, which is done with the copy job, the copy activity in pipelines, lets you move large amounts of data from hundreds of data sources into your Lakehouse for further processing. Well, the second component is end-to-end automation through pipelines, providing orchestration activities that include copy data flow and notebook activities and more. And the topic of today's talk is the data transformation and preparation with Dataflows Gen2, which provides a low-code interface and, in my view, the best entry point into Microsoft Fabric for any business users, the users already knowing a bit of Power Query either from Excel or Power BI. So just like in Excel or Power BI, Power Query offers us everything, all kind of options. And my goal today is to show you that the same type of thing, the same type of activities can be done in 3 different ways, depending on where you are coming from in the where you are on your learning journey, let's say like this. So Dataflow Gen2 sits at the prep stage. It's the bridge between raw data and storage data, and then uncovering structured insights, supporting, as I said, no-code, low-code, or pro-code approaches. It's really easy to use because it's based on the same M engine, which is powering all the Power Query experiences. And as you can see, Power Query is everywhere in the Excel, in the Microsoft data world. But we will focus today and we will use it in the data factory part in Dataflow Gen2. For the newest members that are here in the chat, Power Query is available since more than 10 years, both in Excel and Power BI. And as I said, it has the same M engine behind the scene. So, quick poll just before starting. I'd like to know how many of you are considering yourself no-coders or low-coders or pro-coders. Please scan the QR code and let me know so I know how to adapt the explanations during the session today. It's a very easy, just one button and submit. And I'd like to see the level of the crowd in the session today. So let's see. Do we have any answers? Yeah, 50-50, low code and pro code. Well, pro code. Seven answers. Okay, how many are we? 14. Okay, so we are good. I will skip then. Well, so we have good chances to finish on time because I will skip the initial part, the no-code part, because everybody should know it. I will only mention the important parts. Okay, but even so, even if most of us here in the session are low-coders or pro-coders, I'm pretty sure, I hope that you'll get something out of it, at least one small thing out of it. Enough with all this talking, as Patrick would say, and let's move on my favorite side on the demo part. We'll use business scenario tracking and allocating training program costs across countries, departments, and skills. So let's imagine we are working in a multinational company that invests heavily in employee training programs. So yeah, there are still some companies like this. Not too many, but there are still some companies like this. Each training has a total cost, but management wants to know the cost per department, cost per country, cost per skill, monthly trends, and so on. This is where every data is coming in very strange looking, let's say like this, unstructured Excel files, because they are coming from the training department when not everybody is an expert in working with data. So let me show you one example. This is one monthly file that is coming, and we have several columns. So we have the training program, the countries, the departments, the skills covered, and the total budget that needs to be split equally between the combination of each of them. But not all the data is the same. So let's see here on the countries. We have countries. We have trainings that are going to only 2 countries or 3 countries or only 1. And since we are talking about the one which is only 1 here, the Romania, we should see what we need to get to on this one. So on this one, think about it like this. This amount of 60,000, we need to split it to 6 different records with the combination of every country, department, and skill covered, and allocating a budget of 10,000 euros or whatever we have here. So let's move to the Excel file, and let me show you. This is the Excel file that we are working, and in order to do it easily, I left this Excel file plus another one, and I will show you the other one too, here in a folder on my local drive, right? So we need to connect with Dataflows Gen2 to a local drive. And before moving into actually connecting to this, and let me show you what I pre-prepared in the interest of time, and hopefully being ready on time and having Sue ready for yoga, I've pre-prepared everything, and I did it in 2 different ways. I already created. I saw that. Thank you. I pre-created in a workspace. I created a Lakehouse and 3 different Dataflows Gen2. Each of them is following the pattern that I told you. How can we solve this problem of allocating data with a no code without even touching the formula bar or the advanced editor, a low code, and a pro code solution. And I'd like to start with the no code solution, and this one is happening because I had the file open. As I saw, there are not too many beginners in the meeting today, but still for the recording, I'd like to show how we can connect very easily to a folder from a Lakehouse. We have more or less the same home tab, just like in Power BI or in Excel. We go to get data, more. Of course, we have the new Power Query Online experience. We can check the folder and paste the folder path. I have it here. I already created the connection in my gateway, and whenever we are doing this, we are presented with the content of whatever it's inside that specific folder, and we click the combine button, this one. No additional clicks, no nothing. We just click combine, and Power Query will, just like in Excel or Power BI, will create a set of queries for us. Before creating the queries, we are presented with a screen to select preview sample file, how we should do the transformation, or which is the one that we should do transformation on. We should just select it, create, and then Dataflow, just like in Power BI or Excel, will create a set of queries for us. And I will not spend any time into these ones. I just want to show you and explain what we already have created, because it's already prepared. So basically, it's like this. Based on the sample file that we provided, Power Query creates a set of different queries and parameters, just like I said. This transform sample file is actually the one that we will be doing transformation on. This one is already linked directly. Any transformation we are doing in this transform file is linked automatically with a function called transform file, which then we will invoke in our combined query, let's say it like this. So if we go here, this transformation transform file function is invoked for every record, every file that we have in that specific folder. And then we just expand and do whatever needed to be done. But the one thing that I haven't mentioned here is the actual transformations that we are doing. And you will see here on the right, we have a bunch of steps that I already pre-prepared, which are basically, we started like this. We replaced all kind of spaces and things that were not very accurate or clear in the Excel files. We reordered the columns, even if it's not really necessary. And then the best part is that we need to split these three columns, the skills covers, departments, and countries. We have to split them and do the combination of each of them. So what do? We split the first column, and then we split the second column, and we're just right-clicking and use the split without touching the code at all. Well, after we splitted everything and we have all the columns splitted, we unpivot everything, again, only using the user interface, getting the data, the text before delimiter here to remove the dots there, and then do a group by. So right click, group by, again, only using UI. And on the group by part, edit settings, we are grouping by training program, total budget, and attribute there, and getting all the records here on the on this additional column. And then we pivoted everything. We expanded the skills. So now that we did a pivot and having all the data from that cell, which were splitted by commas in tables now, we can split the or expand the tables and get, so expanded the skills, expanded departments, and expanded countries to get all the combination of all data there with the same total budget, the initial budget that we had there. Now we need to split this budget to the number of records, right? So what do? We need to group again and count the number of records. So I'm grouping by training program and total budget, counting the number of records and getting all the rows in a separate column. We just add an additional column. We go here to add column and we are getting an additional column, the division column. Again, only using UI. And then we are removing everything else and expand all the records. And now we have for each of the combination of training, country, department, and skill, we have the budget that was allocated. But this was done only for the sample file. And as everything I did here is already linked to the transform file function, this will be invoked on every file here in the folder in this additional column. One thing that is different in Power Query Online, besides the interface, which is a bit different than Power BI and Excel, is the ability to choose the destination. So for this one, here, if we go on the bottom right, we can choose our destination. And if I'm hovering, you will see that I already chose the Lakehouse. Oh, not this one. So the Lakehouse, which is in this workspace, this is the Lakehouse, and this is the table. So I'm creating a table in my Lakehouse, and I can go on home, save and run the data flow and load the data directly there. It works. It's very good. If we have to do it only once, you don't have to know more than that. Let's say it like this. It's easy. It's as I said, in my view, it's the entry point in Fabric for an analyst or someone who's coming from the business world. But I want to show you something. Let me show you here in the transform sample file. If I'm going to advanced editor, as you can see, there is a lot of text written in red. So Power Query is writing code for us. Every click that we are doing in the UI, so we haven't wrote anything in the formula bar or in the advanced editor, but all the clicks were transformed by Power Query. And everything that you see here, red, is actually values that are hard-coded by Power Query. So think about it like this. If you need a dynamic or a reusable solution, does it help? Well, not really. And what should we do? We should eliminate as much as we can from the hard-coded stuff. And how can we do it? There are several possibilities, even by reducing the number of records. Let me move to solution 2, but not before checking if there is any question up until now. No, nothing yet. Very good.
No
we
questions.
Can move forward. So how can we improve or make our queries leaner and less dependable on hard coding things? One thing to use is creating parameters. Think about it like this. What if your data will not be stored in the folder that I created earlier, but will be moved to a different folder? It's very easy to create a parameter. And if we move here, if we go on the tab, on the home tab, and go to manage parameters, let me show you, we can create a new parameter. Let me create a new one and call it demo path. We can just leave it as it is because this is a text, but the parameters can be all kinds of parameters. We can use numbers, even tables or queries. We can use all kinds of parameters in different other solutions. In our case, I would just paste the folder path, and just like this, we should be creating a demo path. I'm again using the same combine data from folder in this low-code solution, but I'm trying to eliminate as much as possible the failure points, let's say it like this. Well, this demo path, let me show you, we can replace it here in the source file. And I want to show you that if I'm replacing this with the new parameter that I created, everything should work. And why wouldn't it? But this time, every time you would move the data to a different folder, you only have to update the parameter and everything should work. Of course, in this kind of solution, there is one more place to replace the parameter here, but we'll not go into that. But remember, using parameters will ease up your thing. Another thing that I wanted to show you is, check this out. On the transform sample file, how many steps do I have here? They seem like a little bit less than this, right? Why? Because we can learn about new functions and hidden options that we have there. Let me show you like this. I'm going to the promote headers step here, and let me do the first split, just like I did in the no-code solution, right? So I will do split column by delimiter, and I have a custom delimiter, which is comma and space. What do you see? Here, you'll see the hard coding. Power Query is hard coding the number of columns that we are having, which is always bad, because in next month we can have 4 values in that specific column. The maximum will be 4. In this case, the maximum number of values inside that column is 3, but Power Query is hard coding it. So why would we split 2 columns like this? There is an option here. We can split it to rows. So if I would split these 2 rows, I'm not having anything hard coded. And you will see that if I'm doing it like this, I'm already having the combination of the first column, so everything else that I had here with this in its own column. I don't have to pivot, unpivot, and play around with stuff. And if I'm doing it for all 3 columns, let me delete this step. If I'm splitting it to all 3 columns, in 4 steps, I got to the same point where I was after so many other steps in the no-code solution, and with way less hard coding. Power Query is still hard coding column names and things like this, but it's way less, and the failure points are less. So we can handle way easier like this. Then we'll do the exact same thing. I'm grouping the data by training program and total budget, and I'm adding a custom column, splitting the total budget to the number of records there, and then the same transform file is used here in invoke in this step in invoke custom function. And again, I'm setting up the data destination to the same Lakehouse, but if I'm hovering, you will see I'm loading this data to a different table, so we can check them afterwards. Any questions until now?
No questions. We're just saying how useful being able to split to rows is as opposed to columns.
Exactly, and it's not hard coding anything. Well,
yeah,
you only have the column name, but it's way easier like this.
So much in it, then it works for regardless of how many variables you have.
Exactly.
I mean, Jake did ask about, can you use variable libraries in for the parameters?
Sorry?
You can use variable libraries as parameters?
I haven't tried, but it should be possible. So if we are checking here on the manage, as long as you can make it as a query, you could. So, and I'm thinking about it, and whoever wants to stay a bit more after we close the recording, I have something that I can show you. I have a reusable function library that I'm using. Maybe this is the one that Jake was asking about.
Okay.
Okay. Now we've seen that only by knowing a little bit about Power Query, so leveraging parameters and knowing some stuff about different functions, like this one, splitting was splitting to rows and not columns, or knowing that some functions are having optional parameters and only doing some light touches on the formula bar here, we can ease up our life and reduce the number of steps there. So let's go to the Pro Code solution. And this one, it's already pre-prepared. And as you can see, we have way less queries because I did it differently, but it's still based on the folder path that I created as a parameter. I'd like to try something live and see if it's working or not, and if not, we'll come back to this. I already loaded this, and let me show you here. I already loaded these two files, the Excel files, in the Lakehouse. This is another big thing that we have available working with Dataflows Gen2 and Lakehouses and so on. So if you go here and you upload file, you can either upload them directly here, or you can use the OneLake Explorer here. And let me show you here in the Devon and Cornwall, I have this one. And if I go to files, I have the two files that I was showing you. They are already loaded to the Lakehouse. And I will try to do something live and see if it's working. It did work separately. So I will try to do the entire solution directly from Lakehouse. So let me go and get data more, and I want to get data from OneLake catalog from this Lakehouse. Of course, I have the connection. It's okay. And now I'm presenting with what do I want to load from this workspace where the Lakehouse is loaded. I will just go with files and create. And let's see, what do I get? It should work. I'm trying to follow the chat too. So it's working. Just like I did before, loading data from a folder, I did connect now directly to the folder in my Lakehouse where I have the data. I know this table are, these files are Excel files. I can put some additional filters here, only keep Excel files and only keep the necessary columns, so remove other columns. And knowing these are Excel files, even if here I see a table, I know this is a binary and we cannot get the data out of it. So we can add a custom column here and use the Excel.workbook and get the data from the column content. And speaking of knowing optional parameters, I'm just putting a true here because if I'm putting a true, I know exactly that the headers will be promoted. So I'm skipping a step. If I press the white space near the table, I see a preview of the data here on the bottom. I see a sheet and some XMLN. I don't care about the other one. I only need to get the data from this sheet, right? How can we do it? We'll cheat a bit, and I will right click and add it as a new query. And here on the new query, I will just right click, keep only the type sheet. Okay, I clicked on the other one. Yeah, I went on sheet 1. Let me delete that. I'm going on kind sheet. Keep it there, and out of this table, I only need the data from this nested table, and I can do a projection and go with data. I'll get a list because I'm returning a column from that table, right? Yeah, but this is enough to copy the data. Control C, go back in my initial query and add a custom column and just go with so custom, let me put it like this, custom 2 with an underscore so the naming is easier. And instead of drill down here, so the previous table is not drilled down, but the table which is in this column. And this is how I got a list for each of the files. But knowing that it's only a list, I can expand it and I have tables with data. So now I got to the actual data that it's in those Excel files. So if I'm doing a preview, I get to the same way of working with data from folder from the Excel files. Well, let me keep only these two columns. Yeah, only these two columns. I will delete this query because I don't need it. But we need to create our own function to do whatever Power Query created for us whenever we did the no-code solution, right? How can we do it? It's pretty easy. So let me add it as a new query. So right-click, add it as a new query. And here I will do exactly what I did on the ProCode solution. And let me show you. I will split this column by delimiter on the custom and comma space 2 rows. Okay. I will do it again for each column. What did I do here? I think I did it twice. Split it again on this one, on custom, comma space, 2 rows. And again, on the next one, on the last column, I don't know what this is, so split it here. We are starting to see a pattern, right? We are repeating stuff, and I'm not very good in repeating stuff. I don't like it, to be honest. So I'm trying. This is the reason why I came into this data world, because I was too lazy to do the same stuff over and over again, and I wanted to learn something new and ease up my stuff. As you can see here, we did repeat the same step, the same kind of step, on 3 different steps in our query, and on each of them, the previous table, so the previous step was the starting point for it. So for this one, I'm getting data from this split column by delimiter 2. On this one, I'm getting data from the first one. Well, it's not very reusable like this, and Power Query is also writing a lot of data that is not very helpful. So let me try to delete this, and I think it's enough. And this one too. Because I will cheat again. I'm using and I'm encouraging everyone to leverage the user interface, because nobody will remember by heart, or at least I know very few people that can write code directly in the advanced editor. So I've learned it from Matt Ellington. Use as much as UI and reuse whatever can be reused. So I will copy this code. So what are we doing on each step? So we are getting the same, the previous table, and we are getting the column, so the department column. We are applying the splitting stuff on it. And then we have the same column again. In the step that the split column is Power Query is waiting for us on splitting columns, we are referencing the previous table once and the column names twice. And we are doing it 3 times in total. So I don't like it very much. It means that we need to split every column that we are interested in on the previous table. Let's say it like this. I'm not sure if my English is eloquent enough. Let's say it like this.
It's perfect.
So I will delete the steps that I did here, and I want to make sure that I'm getting the columns that I need to work on without hard coding it. This is another thing that we have to be careful about. I don't want to hard code anything. So I will just reference the previous step, the drill down step. And for this table, this is the table. I want to get the column names. So I will go with table column names from this one. And I'm getting a list with all the columns from that table. But do I need all of the columns? No, I only need these 3 columns. Oh, I'm not sure what I did here. Yeah, Control 2. I only need these 3 columns. Or how many columns will I ever have on this kind of files? Because I might get files with additional columns that needs to be split. So this is a list. I can split the list, or I can select only what I need from the list, and I will wrap everything with a list select. I will just select from this list that we had. As you can see, list select is expecting a function, but as you might know, each is a function. It's a custom function. So I will go with each underscore. So for each of the items in the list, it needs to be different than training program. And in the same time, and underscore different than total budget. So close the parentheses, and we get a list with all the columns that we are interested in, that we need to split without hard coding them. So we only hard coded the columns that we need, which is really good. So let's rename this step. Call names. And come back to the steps that we did before with the repeated steps that we needed to do. There is a function in Power Query that can be used here, a list.accumulate. So let me write a new step here and do it. Insert list.accumulate at the beginning. As you can see, list.accumulate is expecting a list. Well, the column names that we had is the list that we are working on, right? After the list, it's expecting a seed. So the starting point of what we are doing. The seed can be anything. Can be a table, can be another list, can be anything. Well, in our case, it's this table, the drill down tables. And in order to make it easier to work with, so let me close this. I'm trying to rename it, commit anyway. Well, it doesn't work, so I will go with the flow like this. Because we have a space in the name, we have to reference it with the hashtag in front and drill down. And the list.accumulate has a special way of writing the function. It has an accumulator. It took me a while to understand, but it's a very special way to write it. It actually expects a function with 2 parameters, the state state, and the current. Of course, you can name it as you want. In most of the documentation that I've seen, it's called state and current, but it can be named S and C or R and whatever. We can call it as it is, but the state is actually the current state of the transformation or the next step, and current is the item in the initial list in the column names that we had. Here is the step where we are reusing the code that I copied. So I will just go with pasting everything and closing the parentheses on list.accumulate. And as I said, we are working with on every step that we did the split. We were referencing the previous table, which is this one. And in our case, this is the state. And we had the column name referenced twice. Well, in list.accumulate, the column name is actually each of the current items in these column names that we created here. And it's actually the current. So I will replace countries with current. And also here with current. And commit. And if I did everything right, well, drill down matches, no export. Did you miss? Well, didn't I reference it correctly? I did something wrong.
You've got a capital D, so it's drill down in lowercase.
Capital D. I was about to say.
If you go
should
to
be a
your
lowercase.
custom, you want the D to be little.
This is why I don't like to leave the step names like this.
Yeah.
So in a single step now, without hard coding anything from the columns that I needed to split, I have everything. Of course, I can move forward and do the grouping by and so on, but I don't want to spend too much time on this because I already have the solution done here. But I want to show you why I referenced one of the files here and how we can transform it in a function. So let's consider I already did everything and I want to transform this into a function. I'm not going with create function because I don't have a parameter here. I'm going with advanced editor. And think about it like this. A function always has at least one parameters, even if that one is null. There are functions without parameters, but in our case, the parameter should be the data in each of the files, right? Well, let's see which is the one. I think this is the one. Let me go back and see which is the actual data. Not this one, not this one. Expand. No, I think it's drill down. Yeah, this is the one. Well, this time I will rename it so it's easier afterwards. So this should be my parameter, right? Because I got the column names and the list.accumulate, and I will do the split based on this data, which is a table, right? So let me rename this as fx transform demo, so it doesn't have the same name, even if it's still a query. I will go with advanced editor and drill down. Well, I want to show you something else before moving further. I don't like to read the data like this. And I have prepared something that I will make it available to every one of you. I created a custom GPT here. And whenever I'm pasting some data and asking to format it, I will get a clean and comment code out of it, so I can read it better afterwards. And this custom GPT will even suggest improvements if they are needed and so on. So I want to just format this so I can understand it easier. It will provide alternative solutions. I'm not interested in that part now. I will just give you the file or the link afterwards so you can play with it. And let me go back, Control A, Control V. And now I have a very nicely written code, and I can see exactly where is my drill down. Drill down sheet. Yeah, this is the one. Well, this is the step where we should insert our parameter. So above this code, above this line, I will just comment everything. I'm not deleting it. I'm creating a parameter called input table. And just go with the equal and greater sign. And we need to start with a let expression. And I will just copy the name because this is referenced afterwards. I will just keep the same name and give it the value of the input table. Control C and comma. And this is how we transformed. We should have transformed. What did I miss? Comma somewhere. Let. This is correct. What am I doing wrong here? Drill down, input table, stable, but it doesn't matter much. In expand. This has a comma. Well, to be honest, I should have checked the query before trying it.
I can't see it, Cristian. I was trying to look to see if I could see it, but I couldn't see it there.
Let me go back with the initial query here. Not this one, the one that I copied. Control A, Control C. No, I cannot go with Control A. I will just start with the original one, so I'm not. Oh. Okay, let's say like this and drill down. This is the step. There is another option. Let's go with VS Code and only format the code. File, new file, text file, language, query, just to format it quickly. Format document, Control A, Control C. And the drill down is here. And I should do it from here. Let's comment everything above it. Do a parameter, input table, equal goes to let with a small let. I know I'm a bit late, Sue, but I'm trying.
No, I'm listening, I'm watching. It's all good.
Drill down.
I'm still calling drill down instead of input table. Yeah, now you are going to define it.
Control C, Control V. It should work this time. Yeah. So this transform demo, this is how we can switch between a query and a function. And so now if I'm going to this table and invoke the function, invoke custom function, I'm invoking this one on the values in a column, which is custom 2. it's working as expected, and I'm getting the data for each of the files there. There was one more thing I wanted to show you, and I will show you directly in the transform table in the initial function, because I don't want to be too late. There was one thing that I did here. So I did a group step here on all the data on, actually I did the grouping on the training program and the total budget. And the entire, in a single step, I got the, I inserted the data from the total budget to the nested table there. And still I need to transform this one, at least to show you. Advanced editor. This is exactly what I did in my initial table. So I'm uncommenting this and transforming the function to a query again. Well, I know this one is not commented. Okay, so I'm transforming it again, and this is the last step where I grouped everything on the table that is nested under the combination of training program and total budget. And then I did everything in a single step, allocating everything to a single step there. The good thing is that I will try to do it again to switch it back, because I have another file that I would like to add it to the Lakehouse or to the folder. I will just do it to the folder because it's easier. So I go to Advanced Editor, comment everything and transform it again to a function. But I want to see the final result. Here on the Pro code, I got 160 records, and I have everything prepared. I loaded initially all the records, all the results of low code, no code, and Pro code results into the Lakehouse. And if I'm counting the data, the number of records inside each of the tables, I'm getting 160 on Pro code, 160 on low code, and 160 on the no code, right? But if I'm adding an additional file, let me show you, not on this one, on this one. If I'm adding an additional file with an additional record inside and an additional column, the group which was never referenced in the no code or low code solution, what do you expect? This one's should work. The Pro code solution should work, and the other ones will not work for sure. And let me copy this and paste it in the demo file. And let's try to refresh the no-code solution and see how many records do we get. We're not expecting to move to load everything in the Lakehouse. So in total, now we should have 3 types of dates here. Let me refresh this one too. Not only the transformation file. Load more. Yeah, we also have the data for the December, the file that we added now. In total, we have 279 records now for 3 months. Let's go to the low-code solution where we had parameters, we had some split to columns, and try to refresh this one and see how many records do we have here. 309. So as you can see, we already have a difference between the no code where everything was hard coded versus the low code. And let's try the pro code solution where we had everything in the FX transform, and go to home, refresh, and see the number of records. Plus as you can see, we have an additional column here. We never cared, we never touched or never hard-coded the group column here, and the number of records here is 377. And we have data for all 3 months. So this is without even hard-coding anything. This is the best solution to work forward and the most flexible solution. And speaking of flexibility, let me move back to the slide so we can wrap up, because I know soon is late. So this one, okay, and let me also see the chat. This is the demo. The summary for today. What did we see? Well, we haven't touched too much on the details of loading the data, but I already had data loaded in the Lakehouse and showed you where to load the data, which is actually the main improvement besides towards the Dataflows Gen1 and the Power BI file. But we've touched the 3 methods of working with data, the highlights and the effort level, the flexibility, and the graphic user interface dependency. You saw that no code, the UI only, it's easy, only click and move forward, but it's not very helpful whenever you have different data or because Power Query is hard coding a lot of stuff inside. And the Pro Code solution, as soon as you learn a bit more and you use parameters, it becomes moderate easy, but it's offering some more flexibility. But in the same way, as soon as you know some more advanced code, you can do your queries dynamic, and you're not risking of letting out any other info that you might miss there. So for me, coming from the business side, the biggest impact was self-service whenever I touched Dataflow. And, instead of waiting for weeks for IT to give me data, we could break down silos. Dataflow enabled self-service, and we got faster time to insights, and also reduce IT backlogs. And my challenge to you is when you go back to work, or when you sit and watch the session, just pick one messy data set and run it through a Dataflows Gen2. Start with no code and some low code, put some parameters, try to do it a bit more flexible, and then try to learn from masters like Melissa and others. Try to learn some pro code, because this is how you will fully implement flexibility on your solutions. In terms of resources, I only have the 2 links for the official documentation and the Power Query documentation. These are the 4 books that marked my career and actually changed my career. Ken Pauls and Miguel Escobar, Master Your Data, Collect, Combine, and Transform Data Using Power Query by Gil Raviv. Power Query Beyond User Interface by Chandip Chabra, and The Definitive Guide to Power Query by Melissa De Corte and Rick De Groot and Greg Deckler. I love it. I learned a lot out of it. Don't take them as novels. You will never be able to read them from one end to another, but they are very, very good resources, and I highly recommend you get all 4 books. And as I said at the beginning or during the session, I did create a custom GPT. This one. It works in 98% of the cases. I've seen that from time to time it forgets a bracket or something, but in most of the cases it works very well. It will explain the code, it will format it, and even suggest code for you. But take it with a grain of salt. Don't throw up your previous working code whenever you get the result out of the this custom GPT. Try it. So thank you very much. Thank you all. Let's take some questions if they are still there. And thanks for staying until the end. And sorry, Sue, still we missed a few minutes.
I would be very surprised if we finished on time with you, Cristian, when you're talking about Power Query, because I know it's one of your passionate subjects.
Exactly.
And seeing you go into Visual Studio Code and just so fluently was a real joy. I am going to have to shoot in a minute, but I'm going to leave you to answer a question from Jake that you will be delighted to answer.
Sure.
And we have Melissa in the chat, Melissa DeCourt as well. So
yeah, I saw it. This is why I wanted to. Well, Melissa is one of the few people that I know. She can write M code from scratch. You know, I said it at the beginning.
Yeah,
it's only
and
her,
so there were
maybe...
lots and lots of lovely thank you. So I'm going to shoot, but I will leave you in the capable hands of Anthony. But
Thanks
the question from
me.
Jake was about, and I know you're going to love this because it refers to chemicals, about how you actually, the different stages of loading data into Power Query. So I thought you would talk about the inputting and the staging and the mastering. But I am going to go, but that was brilliant. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.
Oh, I'll stop. Hang on, I'll stop recording. But thank you everyone for being there, Donald and Jack, and lovely questions from Vicentio and